In the last video, I made a mistake. I made a boo-boo. Yes, I understand. I didn't have to read the comments to understand that I made a mistake because I was uploading the video to YouTube and it crossed my mind. I was like, oh shit. If Dun Heng has an enhanced basic attack, that means he doesn't use his elemental skill to hit the enemy. So then he doesn't get a third stack on the Moles Welcome You Lightcone. So that Lightcone is actually pretty bad for him. It's just like the Clara situation. Sorry, like I said, I'm still getting over my sickness. It's like the Clara situation where if you have the Moles Welcome You on her, you can't use your ultimate to get the last stack. So you end up with 2 out of 3 stacks and you're missing a huge part of the condition or the passive of the weapon. So it's not going to be a good weapon on him. Like this one is a really good light cone, but it only works on characters that don't have enhanced basic attacks. Characters that need to utilize all 3 stacks in order to get the max passive. So Fu Xuan around the corner, I thought it'd be a good time to finally start talking about my build, the progression I made with my build for Fu Xuan, and how exactly I'm looking at the character to perform on release. As you all know, this is a character I've been really anticipating ever since she's been mentioned in the game, because I personally do love quantum characters. It is my favorite element right now in the game. I mean, no shocker, I use all of the characters of that element, but I've been really wanting to have a reason to build QQ, and QQ will be a nice character to use in that team comp. Assuming your QQ, of course, has Eidolons, then you're able to use that character alongside your Seal to deal a lot of damage in situations where you would use your Fu Xuan and even a character like Silverwolf, for example. Now, there's a couple of things we can deter about the character. First of all, we know she's going to be HP scaling. That's been mentioned already. We also know she's going to be preservation, so she's going to be a defensive option, just like Jeopard. And we also know that she's a part of the quantum element. So she's going to be a very nice character to have in the mono quantum team composition. But because she's preservation, she's just going to be a great defensive option all around, even if you don't want to use her in the mono quantum team composition. So personally, I'm looking for pieces of gear of the 4-piece quantum set. Just because the character is quantum HP scaling, she's probably going to have damage multipliers that are not that bad, right? So why not be able to utilize the best set in the game on a character that can utilize it really well in the team comp you would want to use her in anyways, mono quantum. So having this set on her seems pretty good. As long as you get HP, crit damage, and speed, she'll be a pretty decent character. Effect resistance is also really nice, and then having crit rate to balance it out will be pretty good too. These are the boots I'm going to be using. Crit rate, crit damage, effect resistance, HP main is very important because the more HP you give the character, I'm sure the more damage mitigation you'll have for your allies, which is very valuable. Also, that means you'll probably heal back more damage when you have more HP, and she'll probably hit harder if she is HP scaling. Oh, I forgot to mention, I do have a pair of speed boots. Like, always have a pair of speed boots for a character like Fu Xuan, just so you can make sure that she synchronizes pretty well with your team. Like, if you're going to be using her, like, flexibly in most contents in the game, having speed boots on your defensive option is very important anyways, because a character like Jeopard, I learned the hard way, is a character that needs speed boots, just so you can meet those, like, proper rotations with a character like Seal that increases her speed anyways, because as you all know, Seal can get really fast and start taking a lot of turns. So if you really want to keep the uptime of, let's say, the passives or the buffs that Fu Xuan gives to the team, having speed boots on the character is very, very good. So any speed boots that has like HP and effect resistance, like these 2 stats primarily is all you really need, is going to be really good for the character. So I just wanted to mention that. This is my HP rope right now. I do have a rope of energy regeneration, which I can use on the character if I really wanted to. This rope right here, but I personally am going to just use her with HP rope because I want to see how high the HP I can get on this character. I think honestly having like 8 to 10k HP would be pretty cool, right? And then of course the 2-piece set of broken keel would be really good on the character because effect resistance is very good for preservation characters anyways, and I'm sure she'll have effect resistance in her traces, so the more you can get from outside sources, the better. And then you'll give all of the allies in the team comp crit damage increases, which if you look at the composition mono quantum, all of the characters here can be built as damage dealers. My Silverwolf is personally built with damage, so I'm able to take advantage of all of the buffs that Fu Xuan is able to provide. QQ is also a very solid damage dealer as well. She's even better, honestly, if you focus all of your resources onto her to make her the hyper carry in the team. But in a team like this, she'll still be able to perform really well. And then Seal is a pretty decent damage dealer. I mean, all Seal really needs is skill points, let's be honest. If she gets skill points, then she's able to perform. And it's a team like this where your other characters aren't, I mean, hopefully aren't going to be taking that many skill points. You'll have a character that is able to get the skill points she needs in order to deal her damage. And then Fu Xuan, of course, being a defensive option. This is a character that will be providing buffs to the team while also being able to provide mitigation and damage reduction, which is very nice. While on top of that, being a character that also might have really decent damage. One of the things worth mentioning is that the quantum weakness break effect is actually really, really good. You delay the enemy's action and then you deal additional quantum damage, which increases to the amount of hits you get on the enemy before they actually take their turn. So if you have a team full of quantum characters, and let's say all the quantum characters in that team have a decent amount of speed, even have a character like Silverwolf to lower the speed of the enemy, even lower the defense of the enemy, you'll deal so much damage with the quantum weakness break effect. And you don't even have to account for building weakness break, or excuse me, break effect on all of your quantum characters, primarily just the ones that hit consistently. I would say personally, a character like Silverwolf would be a really good character to have with the weakness break effect in the team comp. Okay, I went off on a tangent there, but anyways, back to the build. Honestly, you would look at a crit damage main stat and speed being a pretty decent option, but the truth is you really want as much HP on the character as possible. So I'm still looking for, I had an HP main with crit damage, but the rolls into crit were kind of mid. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to throw it away. Okay, listen, my standard for relics is really high. If I get something that rolls like this, then I probably do throw it away. The only reason I kept this is because I literally don't have anything at all for the fire main, the fire set. So I was like, okay, I'm going to keep this one. But in terms of quantum, I have so many quantum pieces. It's like, if I don't get something that's good or up to my standards, I just literally trash it. And the honest truth about relics and Honkai Star Rail is I wanted to make a video on this a while ago. Relics in this game are really hard to come across. And for the spear, you honestly just want HP main, effect resistance, speed, and then crit damage. That's honestly what I'm looking for from my HP main stat spear. But the problem is, like I said before, is that relics are pretty hard to come across. So trying to get an HP spear with those stats is going to be pretty hard. Just know that you're going to be going at it anyways for a while, because I mean, the other set for the broken keel that you'll be farming also is actually pretty good, right? You increase basic attack and elemental skill damage by 20%. So it's still, like, even if you don't get this set and you get the other set, you'll at least be building towards another character like Syl, for example, that is going to be in the mono quantum team comp, right? For lightcone choices, I'm going to be using We Are Wildfire just because A, I'm not going to be going for Fu Xuan's 5-star lightcone. Only reason is because I don't have the pulls for it. And B, I'm not going to be going for the Herta Shop lightcone, the one that's for free to play. And the reason for that is because, I mean, you'd have to prepare for it. And I honestly use all of my tickets, Herta bonds, for pulls. I'm very guilty of that. I have a gambling addiction. So I'm going to be using this 4-star lightcone, which honestly pretty good in the character anyways, because this damage dealt to all allies being decreased for 5 turns is very valuable in that team, because Fu Xuan will be further decreasing the damage that is taken by all of the allies. So this is very good for situations that you'll be using Fu Xuan anyways. And then restoring the HP to all allies is pretty good if you're going to be using this character like all the time, like everywhere you go. So it'll be very nice. Like, this portion of the light cone is really good for most PvE parts of the game. And I would say the top part is really good for Memories of Chaos. However, if you are free to play, please do go for those Lightcone for Fu Xuan. It is so freaking good. Not only do you get free effect resistance, like, let me just mention that 16% free effect resistance is so good. I cannot express how good it is. I'm stuttering. That's how good the effect resist increase you get for free is. 16% on top of the 10% you'll get from Broken Keel. That's 26. And then whatever you have, so you'll need 30 in order to get the passive of the 2-piece accessory anyways. So you'll have around like 50 plus effect resistance if you have the, of course, if you get like the effect resistance from your pieces of gear anyways, you'll have around 50 plus, which makes it to where you'll be resisting a lot of the debuffs that is thrown at you from most of the enemies in the game. Not like the higher end enemies, but most enemies in the game. You'll need higher amounts, like 70 plus we're talking, if you really want to start resisting everything. But 50 is really, really good. And then the shield you get from this passive is really good for a character like Fu Xuan. If you want her to be a very, very strong defensive option to use like all time in the game, so especially the higher end of Memories of Chaos, is where that shield will really start to take effect. And then you're doing like simulated universe, like the end parts where you're fighting the bosses, especially on the last world of simulated universe, then you'll really start to get that passive shield, which is very valuable for the character. So that's gonna be the video here. Honestly, wanted to make it really chill and really just relaxed, laid back video. If you want more videos like this, of course, let me know in the comment section down below. I just wanted to show you all my build and honestly see what kind of build you guys have been cooking up. Just because I've been looking at the Fu Xuan's main subreddit and Reddit, subreddit and Reddit. There you go, subreddit, thread, and Reddit. I'm making it more weird than it needs to be. But yeah, that's gonna be the video here. Thank you for watching and have a nice rest of your day. Peace.